Oh.
Good morning, everyone. May buntag and welcome to the press conference of the UP President and the UP Mindanao Chancellor. So, before anything else, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of our friends from the media. Present are the XRP Radio Pilipinas, PTV, we have Mindanao Times, Mindanao Daily, Kadangpanan Live. We also have a media friend from Minda, and Philippine Daily Inquirer, Davao Today, Business Mirror, PIA 11, Minda News. I understand that Sunstar Davao and GMA TV are on their way. I also would like to acknowledge the presence of Himati. This is the official student paper of UP Mindanao. So, to formally start our press conference, I'd like to request our UP President, Honorable Attorney Angelo Jimenez, to give his brief message. Sir?
Salamat. Oo. Good na ba? Salamat sa inyong pag-anhi. May buntag, Chancellor Lair. Sa atong mga isuon sa media, salamat sa inyong pag-anhi. I would like to say that it's good to be back, but I cannot say that because I am from Mindanao. I'm from Butuan. I'm a native of Mindanao. I'm a Manobo. I'm a Manobo Datu. So, as soon as I was elected, I went to Mindanao to take my oath before my tribe in some of the foothills of Agusan Valley. So I wanted to establish that I am a UP president from Mindanao, and I'm very proud of my indigenous people's roots. But so, aside naman siguro mo, no, that I was invested here. My investiture was in Davao, and because it sent a message that we are going to make a pivot to Mindanao in a way as a national university, because Mindanao needs support, and I feel it not just in my mind but in my guts. So today I just I have a strategic plan, but and it has 10 it has 3 basic themes and 10 flagship programs that involves from digital transformation of UP, establishment of the Archipelagic and Oceanic University, improving teaching, research, innovation and creative works, faculty development. But today I will just focus on democratization of access. Now, the reason I want to focus on democratization of access is, of course, number one is that I was a student too, and it was an issue when I was still a student as a student council chairman of the UP Diliman Student Council, and I am fortunate enough to become the president. I did not expect it. Now I have the opportunity to make good on what I felt so strongly about when I was still a student, especially in Mindanao. Alam niyo naman siguro that UP is the national university, and the national university should really be accessible to, as much as possible, the broadest sector of our population, especially in the geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas, no? So, and marami dito sa ato sa Mindanao, tagan dito sa ato sa Mindanao. So, first is the also is to do that, we have to increase the number of students in UP Mindanao. Right now, it's 1,200, no? Around 1,400. And I am very happy that UP Mindanao, on their own initiative, they're thinking of, they're planning, they're already implementing a plan to increase the population to 5,000 students. And I want na it will be done during my term as UP President, which ends on 2029. So this is what they call the race to 5K. Race to 5. Okay, no, race gusto ko eh. Lumba man eh. No, but anyway, this is a very good plan, and I would like to say that I am very supportive of this plan. Right now, we have about 19 programs, no? But 11 of them undergraduate programs. Among the best in Mindanao is, of course, your architecture program and your biosciences. And we have in Mindanao, because of COVID, yung genome center as well, no? So dakong tabang to during COVID, and it will have a very important role now, even after COVID. So I am fully supportive of increasing the number, but most especially if we're talking about those from the isolated areas in the country para maabot din nato ang mga estudyante. So this is what we call the democratic access to UP, geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas. That is the true focus of that, no? Because there is so much benefit to one family if one of their members can actually get access to higher education, especially if it is a UP education. We know that UP still remains the center of excellence in Mindanao. And all over the country, we're still the #1 university in the country right now, whether public or private. So, one of the first things we did was to increase the number of UPCAT, kasi access, no? There are students who cannot even apply to UP because it's too far to go to a UPCAT testing center, the UP College Admission Testing Center. The plan is really to have one UPCAT testing center per province, and we are moving closer to it. Right now, 4 testing centers na tayo for every region, but we want to really increase this number so that access, the cost and convenience of taking the UPCAT will be better for students in the remote areas or in the disadvantaged areas. The other thing as well is, we have noticed that of the about 14,000 we admit, we always get over 100,000 in COVID medyo bumaba applicants a year, and we would get about 10%. And unfortunately, most of these are from private schools. We want to increase the number of those coming from public schools. But we noticed that every UPCAT, there are 1,400 to 1,500 students who pass the UPCAT from disadvantaged areas, but for some reason, they don't proceed to UP. And we noted that 40% of the students actually don't proceed to UP because they may have passed the UPCAT, but they have no money support their education, even when it is already free. We know already, di ba, that the cost of education is not just tuition. You have to be supported with your food, your library, your transport, your dormitories, and even your books. And right now, because of the highly technical nature now of knowledge of teaching and knowledge delivery, you need assistance as well in terms of communications, particular internet communications, including yung mga gadgets like laptops and smart tablets. So we are going to correct that right now. What we want, of course, not everyone who passed the UPCAT will want to go to UP. They may have other choices. They may even go abroad, sa mga those who can afford. But ang focus lang natin are those students from disadvantaged areas. When I say disadvantaged, we're talking about the marginalized geographically, economically, socially, even politically. It's not all the time that even from among the disadvantaged sector of society may pumapasa sa UPCAT. The UPCAT still remains to be the most difficult entrance exam in the country today. And if somebody from among the marginalized passed the UPCAT, that is extraordinary. And we feel that as a first step, yun lang muna saluhin namin. This is going to take some expense, and we're going to raise funds. We're going to raise funds and find funds for this, because the full cost of a support could range from 80 to 150,000 students per year, minus tuition, so dorms. We have big competition, but of course, sa Diliman area or Manila area, mas mahal, no, kaysa provincial. So there are various costs. So we're raising, and we have set aside at least for about 350 students na pumasa from very disadvantaged sectors na pumasa. May UPCAT results na. And I'd like to tell you that we have identified about 60 of them for you to Mindanao. No? So we hope to get the 60 from UP Mindanao, and we hope to bring them here. Now, ganito kami kadeterminado. Kung dili makaanhi sa Mindanao, bipasa, iway pamilya di amo nang ipasugat, no? So sunduin namin yan. No? Ganun naka-determine yung ating we will pick them up. It depends on the request. No? So that's one thing. We're going to focus on this sector of those UPCAT passers who, for some extraordinary reason, despite all the disadvantage, umasa sa toughest college entrance exam in the country that is dominated right now by students from private schools. Okay? That's one thing. The other thing is we are also encouraging non-UPCAT route, because we know na the UPCAT can be biased for elitist schools now. The elite schools, sorry, not elitist, the elite schools. There are certain things like math, reading, and comprehension, and sciences that are not as better taught in some schools than in others. Some schools talaga, of course, you have very exclusive schools in Manila, and even in Davao, no? That advantage talaga. But these students, bisag wala pupasa sa UPCAT, we can spot their potential through data science, na pwede sila ma-assist sila, and their potentials can be further developed, so that later on ma-equalize natin ang disadvantages sa high school, and within the second year in UP, they will be as good or even better than the average UP student. So we have non-UPCAT routes. Included na dito ang associate in arts degrees. We have one in Mindanao, right? In sports science. And sports science na ba? Alam niyo. Oo. So okay, we have one in sports science, mga varsity. So for those talented students, sports is a very, very good avenue for getting higher education, no? Kasi that's a natural talent. So, but in many other areas in UP, not just in Mindanao, we're introducing, so UPLB, they would have four associate in arts degree. These degrees are 2-year degree. But if you have good grades, you can proceed to a degree of your choice. So this is an associate in arts degree, but if you had good grades for the 2 years, you can proceed to a full bachelor degree. So instead of a one-shot exams like the UPCAT, you will have 2 years to enter UP, to enter to any of UP's full bachelor degrees. So kung nakita ninyo, ang 2 years nimo, ang associate in arts, will serve as your UPCAT. And you have 2 years to catch up. Of course, it will have to involve, and I already gave already instruction to involve providing as well yung mga affirmative action, yung what we call bridging. Kasi kung mahina sa English, they should be able to access support in terms of improving their English, math and science capacity, so that they can compete with the rest. And not just compete with the rest, keep up with the standards of instructions in UP, because we are not going to lower the standards just to reach the students. We are going to raise them so that they can meet the standards. That's one thing. The other thing as well is there are non-traditional learners, no, particularly sa UP-OU. We know that some students up at 18 years old they want to work because they need to support themselves. We have developed a program, but ang prime nito is the UP Open University. They also have associate in arts degree. They can do ladderized teaching, learning at your own pace. You can work, get credits, macro credentials, subjects, no? And over there, you're stuck it up until you become a full graduate. Nakaproduce na tawag PhD, no? They're now teaching in Dubai. One of them I met is teaching in Dubai, railroad engineering. No? So, sa class ng PUP pa nga, no? We offer it to PUP as well. So, that's it. No? The other thing is, we are also offering micro-credentials. And yung micro-credentials, these are not full, let's say, these are subjects that are not full traditional units. Like there are certain, like the three, like subjects in engineering, for example, the 3 units, maybe equivalent to 1 unit lang, but it is a marketable skill that they can immediately use when they go to the world of work. Micro-credentialing. Then you can also stack it up until you get a full degree, or as much as possible. So it's not just learning at your own pace, learning at your own time, it is also lifelong learning. So there are very senior, older people who are taking up courses to advance and to get a degree. But most of the time, it's just to be able to enhance, to get certifications for certain skills that they already need in order to get promotions at work. Now, the other thing is that we are offering to our ventures in international and transformational academia, no? Or we call it VINTA. It's called VINTA, colors, you know, that's in Southern Mindanao both. No? We're offering it abroad as well to our OFWs. If you have relatives in OFWs who want to get the UP degree or at least UP credentials, you can inform them of this program. You can just Google UP VINTA, Ventures in International and Transformational Academy. It's under UPOU. We are going to launch it in about 7 countries: Qatar, United Arab Emirates, Japan, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore, and Thailand. Na-launch na nato sa Japan, and I was there when it was launched. So, ang target nito are OFWs, or even their children abroad. They too can get degrees. So this is going to be education without borders. And one of the reasons, of course, is I used to be a labor attaché. I used to be with the Foreign Service, the Labor Foreign Service. So we have about 10 million Filipinos abroad. 10 million Filipinos. Some of them, of course, have citizenship in other countries already. But this is the trust. And many of these courses don't have to have UPCAT as well. So it's open, distance e-learning, open. Anyone can apply. For as long as, of course, you show that you're qualified to fulfill the academic requirements. So hindi UPCAT style to. So if you will see the trend, we're opening up UP, but not lowering its standards. The other thing is, we are also, it's not just enough to bring them here, you know. We are also giving them full support, particularly sa wellness. No? We are enhancing, we are even giving funds right now for those students having mental health issues, which is increasing these days because of the pressures of society and the fast rate of change. No? For the first time, we're adding more and more financial support para makapalit lang of medication that they needed for that. No? Later on, our assistant vice president for academic affairs, if you want to ask them about it, she can answer. She's here with us, no? Shari Ulikino. She used to be a student regent like me, no? Pero pinag-work ko na yung mga student leaders ng UP ngayon to join me, including the executive vice president, used to be chairman as well of UP Diliman Student Council. Pero dili may student council government, This is so this is the other thing. And in Davao in particular, we are very concerned about health, because what will you do? We need to really support not just the health of our students, but the health of support the development or the promotion of health in Mindanao, no? There's one thing that we noticed. The World Health Organization recommends 1 doctor per 1,000 population. Medyo madaming doctor kailangan, no, at that rate. Sa Philippines right now, it's just 3.7 doctors per 10,000 population. Malayong-malayo sa recommended. But in Davao, I was told, it's 1 doctor per 40,000. Sobra. No. I don't know if you can confirm that, but this is the data they gave me. But whether you confirm it or not, I'm going to stand on this data. We are going to have. So hopefully by next year, may establish na to ang UP College of Medicine sa UP Mindanao. We will introduce medicine. It will still be adapted muna because we want to do it very fast. It will probably be adapted by the biosciences. No? And we will probably rent muna because we don't want to wait for buildings which will take years. No? We will try to rent some buildings. We are going to implement it, but ang target naman is next year we will soon introduce medicine in UP Mindanao. We'll probably use the Southern Philippines Medical Center. Ina-arrange pa namin kasi naanay-duha ka schools. It's a teaching hospital, no? But we are talking right now to the chairman of CHED to allow a third one kasi dako man ang hospital. It's still accommodate. It's even bigger than the Philippine General Hospital, no? And many of those doctors there are graduates of the UP College of Medicine, so they're very excited too. So we want to address this particular health concern, and we want to produce more local doctors from Mindanao. But Mindanao needs more than just doctors. No? It needs skills to support its development aspirations. So even then, we are introducing engineering as well. Hopefully by next year, we can also introduce civil engineering as a start. Pero since this program requires a long gestation period, we are going to ask the College of, we have asked already, the College of Engineering of UP Diliman to do it here in Davao on an so yeah, off-site, what do you call that? Off-campus, no? So it will be taught here. Right now, I'm really struggling very hard to get more funds for more infrastructure for UP Mindanao because we need to make the vision is UP Mindanao becomes a full comprehensive university to serve Mindanao and to provide opportunities for high quality education to the Mindanaoans, right? Especially the talented one. And also, finally, I just like to stress there that the University of the Philippines is going towards Mindanao. We're not waiting for people to come to us. So one of the initiatives, of course, we have is the establishment of the BARM, Bangsamoro Regional Bangsamoro Development Institute, okay, for the BARM. We know that the BARM is among the most depressed area in the country. And if we can help, because they're doing a great job right now of helping themselves, we just want to contribute. No? And we are going to focus, of course, on our core strength, which is, of course, education, capacity building for policy making, and, of course, certain important skills, particularly in agriculture, resilience. Those are core strengths of UP. We're the strongest in the country when it comes to those things. And including, of course, in teaching. So we are going to establish that talks with the BARM. But the idea really is we want to establish the very idea that we are a public service university. For over 100 years, ang motto ng UP is honor and excellence. Under the current administration, which I need right now, we are going to stress service. Kaya ang atong mga tao, di ba na magbenepisyo kung bright na. Magbenepisyo lang na kung gamito nato ang ka-bright nato para sa kaayuan sa katawahan. No? So we were not created to just pursue things for ourselves. We were established to serve the Filipino people. So we have created a vision, a vision for UP na we are an institution engaged in the transformation to produce good citizens and leaders. We have always been producing leaders, but good citizens is you're accountable to your society. Yun ang pasabot, you're there to serve, and they are engaged in knowledge co-creation. Pasabot na when we collaborate with other universities, we recognize that we are equals and they have much to contribute. They have as much to contribute than us. So knowledge co-creation to build a just, equitable, and sustainable society. And we are doing it in Mindanao right now. And this is the reason why I am here as well to talk. See, this is a very ambitious program that we're doing, the 10 flagships. We know that it will take, it's not going to be easy, but we welcome this challenge, and we are here this morning. I'm particularly here this morning to explain our vision, but most importantly, to listen to our sectors in the university, which I will do right after this press conference. Thank you very much. 5 minutes na ko, pero may nagpugo.
Okay, thank you, President Jimenez. So before we open the floor to questions from the media, I would like to request also the UP Mindanao Chancellor Larry Mura to also give her brief message. Chancellor.
Hello. Okay. Yes, maayong buntag sa inyong tanan. First of all, welcome to our media partners. Welcome to UP Mindanao. I hope you have a productive and fun time here in your short stay here in our campus. So just to give you a background, among the nine constituent units in the UP system, UP Mindanao is the only one that was created by law. And by law, our mandate is to really provide academic leadership in Mindanao to help in its sustainable development. So when UP Mindanao started, we only have 9 degree programs. Now we have 19, as President mentioned earlier, and these are in the fields of agriculture, agribusiness and management, architecture and urban and regional planning, the natural sciences, social sciences, and sports science. So building on that momentum, we want to continue expanding our academic programs so that we continue to produce graduates who will fill the gaps for the demand in human resource in Mindanao. We know that Mindanao is right now in the stage of full development, and therefore human resource is really a strong demand in our region. So we thought of areas where UP Mindanao can really contribute to Mindanao. So these are 3 programs. President mentioned the 2 other programs earlier. So these are in health, engineering, and entrepreneurship. And we are collaborating, we are partnering with our sister campuses, UP Diliman, UP Manila, and UP Los Baños to adopt their programs for these fields. And that is important because we know that these programs are already doing well. They have already produced graduates of high quality in these campuses, and therefore if we adopt them here in UP Mindanao, then we already have a head start in terms of providing a high quality academic program. So as President mentioned earlier, the first thing that we are looking into is the Doctor of Medicine program, because really the distribution of medical professionals in the country is skewed, with less medical professionals here in Mindanao. President earlier gave the statistics. 1:40,000 in Mindanao, but the demand is even much higher. So we believe that by having our own medical program here in Mindanao will help meet the demand for those medical professionals. And so this is going to be, our program is going to be the first program to be offered by a state university here in Davao City. The second one is engineering. Right now, we have a shortage of licensed engineers in the country. Mindanao, we have a lot of big infra projects, right? But there's a shortage of licensed engineers. According to the numbers, we need every year, between 2023 to 2026, we would need 14,000 licensed civil engineers every year. But we only produce 9,000 board passers every year. So kulang pa. Okay? And therefore, gusto nating makaambag din dun sa number na yon by offering civil engineering programs here in Mindanao so that, we know we have talents. We have potential talents here in Mindanao, but they don't have that opportunity to get that kind of education because these programs are there in the north or other parts of the country. So, gusto nating ma-open ang university for more opportunities for our civil engineers. And that is also aligned with our current program in architecture. So, nag-complement sila sa isa't isa, which is already a strong program of UP Mindanao. And the last one is entrepreneurship. Because we believe that innovation and entrepreneurship, these are emerging sectors, and they are the ones that will continue to support the growth and development of Mindanao. So with an AA, Associated Arts Entrepreneurship Program, we can invite our young talents who have these bright ideas, who have brave, confident enough to build their own businesses, to build businesses and create jobs for the community. And with a 2-year program, if you already have graduates of that caliber, imagine how much it can contribute to the region. So those are the 3 programs that we are strategically looking at for the next few years that we can implement here in Mindanao. But aside from that, we are also offering new graduate programs. We will offer new graduate programs so that our professionals naman can have enhanced competencies and be prepared for the 4th Industrial Revolution. So in the pipeline, we have the MS Biology program. This is a unique program in the sense that it will have specialization, specialty tracks. And compared to other programs here in Davao City, they don't have those tracks yet. So yun yung unique feature ng ating MS Biology program. And the second is our Masters in Quantitative Methods and Modeling. Medyo nerd sounding. No, siguro sa mga friends natin sa media, ano yun? Quantitative Methods and Modeling. Wala may kasabot ana. Sige lang, pero ang ano niyan, ang purpose ng program nito is really to build capacity of individuals to use data, use science, generate information, evidence-based information na makatabang sa atua in decision making. So of course, this can be used in a lot of areas, no? Governance, in businesses. So if we have that kind of capacity to make decisions based on information, not just on, haka or guts lang, then we improve our ways of dealing. Diba? So yun yung dalawang graduate programs that we are also working on in the pipeline. So in general, lahat po na ito, sabi nga ni President, this is part of our initiative to expand the population of the university to 5,000, hopefully by 2029. And we call this the Road to 5K, which according to President is now a race to 5K. Managan namin. Yun, so yun nga, this is the UP Mindanao's response to President Jimenez's call for equitable access to education, because we really need to open more opportunities for education here in Mindanao, where there is a lot of work that has to be done here.
I just want to add something. Of course, we're just focusing on UP Mindanao, but UP is a system with 9 autonomous units, and it might become 10 by next year, hopefully. No? But really, it's just more than UP Mindanao. In Panabo, we have established already a year ago yung Philippine School of Agriculture and Entrepreneurship. It will address, it's a professional school. It's not taking undergrad, but it will train people here and provide them professional skills or enhance their professional skills in agriculture and entrepreneurship. And it hopes to serve Mindanao because we are an agricultural power, potentially, but kusog of potential sa agriculture. The other thing about equity, can you imagine, I really believe there's so much talent in Mindanao. I'm from Butuan, no? And the Vice President for Academic Affairs, UP, is from Surigao. No? And he's the best ophthalmologist in the country right now. And we're now serving UP. And then, of course, the Assistant Vice President, the one in charge of digitalization, is from Surigao as well. They were just the talent that I found. And can you imagine if many of us here, and we have a very strong, comprehensive University of Philippines and Mindanao, we would have enrolled here. The cost will be less, mas makabisita sa parents, it's much more realistic. So the dream really is to make this part of the ecosystem and provide the highest possible level and quality of education in the country and make it accessible to our people in Mindanao, particularly marginalized. Yung marginalized geographically, economically, socially, and politically, including my own people, yung mga IPs. So thank you very much.
Daghang salamat, President Jimenez and Chancellor Larimurao. So I think it's now time to ask our media friends to ask their questions. So maybe you introduce yourself, your name, and your media organization, sir.
To President Angelo and Ma'am Lair. I'm Ruto Calama from Philippine Information Agency. You have a very big and beautiful sports complex dito sa UP Mindanao. Ano pong plano? Do you have plans of parang National Academy of Sports here, putting up, aside from kinetics, na full-fledged na parang sporting, parang school of sports?
Yes, for the sports complex, so background lang po sa mga hindi nakakaalam, the sports complex is a partnership between Davao City and UP Mindanao. So it is now co-maintained by the city and the university. So right now it is being used as an event place now, and it's also being used, of course, also to help in our sports science programs. But we do not want to stop there. Tama po kayo, meron bang plano na to make it a part of a bigger program? So, buti na lang po, we have help we are now getting help from Congressman Sid Ungab, who is proposing a bill on the Mindanao Sports Development Training and Research Institute. So, i-convert natin po siya into a research institute, and hopefully it will have its own separate funding, so that the facility can be sustained. So hindi lang siya events center, gagawin siya for training, for research, at para mas mapalawak pa natin yung mga programs natin sa Mindanao for sports.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We have another question from our media friend.
Kung meron pa kayong suggestion how to enhance its use, no? I mean, we are really open to it, no? Because what do you do with a very good facility if you don't have what we call the programming, the soft component, which is activities, no? Nagpalarong pambansa na, I was here, no? Nagpalarong pambansa. So we want to host more sporting activities for Mindanao.
Thank you, ma'am. Mag-introduce po namin Matcha Organization.
Hi sir, I'm Jermelina of the Philippine Daily Inquirer. I'd like to ask about what you mentioned. Yung para sa GIDA, geographically
Isolated.
isolated
And
mga students from those areas. So, will UP be giving them some assistance, for example, for their other needs such as mga books siguro,
Yes,
and
yes.
other needs, and then how much will be the budget that UP will be allocating for this? I'm also asking about the all those other programs. I think that it will entail large budget for
Yes.
the school. I mean the UP.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, I already mentioned no, na the components of this. This is only for those who passed from GIDA's areas. And this is just the starting point for this year. I'm just 1 year lang po. The starting point. And also, UPCAT karon was the first UPCAT since COVID. There was no UPCAT before COVID. So now we can spot again who the students are na pumasa, and we have already identified them. And we already have a budget for them, amounting to, I think initially about 37 million, 50 million, yeah, secured na po yun. Of course, I didn't come here without thinking about budget. No? I didn't come here to talk about some plans. It's actually already in the process of implementation as the first round. Now, let me tell you, the components of this are housing and accommodation that could, for 1 year, amount to about 35,000. It could amount. It varies, but this is maximum, no? Para makita natin sa budgeting. Sa Diliman, mahal, no? In many areas, lesser cost. Food, it could reach up to 90,000. Pinakampik ka, communications allowance, well, 5,000. No? But of course, not all communications. So you also related. If you really use it for TikTok, which requires heavy usage, no? I mean, hindi na namin i-cover, no? Basically. But of course, ikaw may discipline doon. Transport could reach 10,000. Book allowance could reach 10,000. School supplies. So ang maximum na estimate namin is 160,000. But it depends on some areas. Some 80, some even less. And in some areas, ang student will not need the full support. No? Kasi just because you're geographical isolated, maybe you don't need all of these things will be given to them. But there will still be variations for students. So about 50 million has been set aside. It's already, the budget is there. Na-secure ko na yung budget for that.
Follow-up lang sir.
Yes.
So, sir, how confident are you that Congress will be very open to this kind of idea?
Oh, I am very comfortable. They love this idea. No, as a matter of fact, they're very encouraging. But we are already using our own funds for this that was allotted already. Just a matter of reprioritizing them. No? So, and then makita mo, I mean, it's always difficult, no, to get funds, especially since UP is not the only one needing funds. No? We still have almost 300 state universities and colleges and local university colleges, and we recognize that they are also probably some of them even need these funds more badly than UP. But the one thing that we have to remember is that there is only one comprehensive national university in the country. And our mandate is to lead higher education. To lead means we must have the highest standards over and above the others so that we will become the trendsetters in terms of standards, but also to help others reach that standard. So we are not just a school, and the concept really right now is that we are a university of universities in the Philippines. That's one thing. So the other thing is, ang budget ng UP sinishare na rin namin sa other SUCs. In terms of our services, meron tayong SUC collaboration agreement. As a matter of fact, this collaboration agreement has already reached ng mga allies natin dito. Ilang universities na ba nag-sign? Because about nag-Mindanao Declaration ako dito, Mindanao Declaration of Collaboration when usually my ambassador here. And we are going to share our resources, our expertise with other SUC, particularly in improving the level of not just undergraduate but even graduate programs nila. We are cooperating with them in other schools. We're setting up the Philippine Genome Centers to improve ability to do genomics. Very advanced na po tayo. And we have many other, like for example, ang plana mo is we have a UP Data Commons. One of the most expensive aspect of digitalization is storage. Storage sa computer storage so that you can do research, you can do complex assignments, homeworks, or even research. And we are going to share even our storage facility. We are going to open our storage so that we will also share our research para accessible even to say Basilan State University or in Sulu, Sulu, the University of Sulu. And I just talked to them the other day. So we're going to share this. So UP, when you talk about UP, it's not just UP. The other thing I like to remind you is that in UP we have a School of Health Sciences in Cotabato. The School of Health Sciences is a very, very good program. From the community, they nominate students to enroll there as sponsored by the local government, but UP training yung kukunin nila. So they can become, wala na yung midwife, no? They changed the name of midwifery now, no? In 2 years you can pass, then you get midwifery, but there's another term for that. Kalimutan ko na, bago lang kasi. No? And then you can proceed to nursing, and you can proceed to become a doctor in 10, 15, 20, depending on what you are. And the nice thing about this program is you are teaching already people already in government, hired already. They can be barangay health workers and who can evolve into doctors after 20 years. And one of the best things a program in School of Health Sciences and the UP Manila is very, very enthusiastic about, because the UP Manila is our champion in health, no? Is that they are almost 90% retention. Walay mihawa. Ang problema mo sa na to, no, we get our doctors mag-Amerika. No? So, ito walay mihawa. Our retention is a very high 80%, almost 90%. Okay?
Sir, can you tell us more about the BARM Development Institute? Will it be set up here in this campus or in the BARM?
Yes,
and also, will it only cater to government officials, or will it?
No.
Okay.
No. It
Can you
will
tell
be
us?
set up, but an envision ko basically is a policy support to help, because one of the most difficult, lalo na sa developing areas, is to produce the skill for policy making, and then of course actual skills. But for me, that would be the main policy support, policy making, capacity building, because we have so many talents in BARM as well. But this is an area where we feel that UP is very strong. But it will include the entire range of issues. Maybe, Lar, can you explain something more?
Yes, the Bangsamoro Development Institute, currently we have a technical working group who is working hard to have that launched soon. It will be housed here in UP Mindanao, although we are also looking into the possibility of having an extension office in BARM. So we have had discussions already with our partners in BARM. Of course, we want first to get their yes. Syempre dapat agreeable sila sa idea na meron tayong partnerships. So we started doing that, and now we are in the process of deep conversations with them to really find out what are their needs and what are the capacities of UP and how we can match those two. So we have a talk with MAFAR, MOH, MOST, and this week we're going back there at the end of the week to also talk to other ministries so that they can also share to us what are the needs in their ministries. So aside from ministries, we have also talked to OPAPRU. OPAPRU is also trying to come up with a collaboration with BDI for the transformation of camps. So, yun po, marami pong areas of, possible areas of engagement. Of course, we just have to prioritize kung ano yung kaya ng UP at ano yung may impact talaga sa BARM.
Thank you. So I see two more hands. So maybe with the gentleman here. Okay, introduce mo na pangalan at saka organization. Then the lady at the back.
Good morning, President Jimenez po. I'm Jay po from Himati, student publication here in UP Mindanao. So, the question po is for the UP President. To give context po, in courtesy calls with the UP Min administration, especially with Chancellor Murao, it was recognized that Road to 5K is going to be a challenge to push through. And especially in the end of infrastructure, where currently students face the lack of academic spaces here in the campus. And specifically, the challenge, as they called it, a game of chicken po, kung saan whether spaces or degree programs po yung should be prioritized in the expansion. And to add on to that, we also acknowledge that in the 2024 General Appropriations Act po, UP Mindanao has the second highest budget allocation for capital outlays next to UP Manila and the PGH. So the question is po, can we achieve a commitment from the UP President that in the following years, this trend of increase in the budget allocation po sa capital outlays would be there po to continue po yung support sa ating Road to 5K plan po? Yun lang naman po.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that question. It was a very strenuous struggle, no, to get it. Can you imagine yung from 50 binawi natin, no? Binawi natin na nakuha natin yung budget natin, especially 50 million lang dapat yung capital outlay for the entire UP. We cannot even finish existing projects with that amount, pero with the support of many of those who understand the role of UP in nation building, we were able to get enough of our budget to keep rolling. We cannot, hindi naman pwedeng lahat na gusto natin makukuha natin, no? But in the first place, the capacity rin tayo to implement, it's also very difficult. But anyway, we will match that with will, no? But we will get a budget. There is of course no assurance. You cannot say with certainty what Congress will eventually approve. That is beyond our power. So it will not be honest to say we will get it. No? But from indications, I am confident from my talks with many of these our senators and congressmen. It helped na classmate ko yung speaker sa law school, si Speaker Martin. It helped na UPC Mig Subiri. It helped na taga Mindanao Pagyod, no? Nagtulot, ibitabang siya. Then, so, and I told them, no, na tabangan na to ang Mindanao because it is an area where the peso can yield more compared to any other campus in UP, no? So, because of the level, no? Now, ito lang, I know we need more facilities. It's urgent. In order to match our dreams we have, but I will not wait for those facilities. We will find interim means, rent them if possible, because you cannot wait for infrastructure. Infrastructure takes time to gestate and implement, and we're not even doing it. Many of them, DPWH, another agency of government, we can only push Pero medicine, engineering, we will not wait for this infrastructure. We will find interim ways of introducing this. Tulad dito sa Diliman, di ba? Sila muna off-campus. Ang medicine, we will rent spaces because the needs are urgent. But ako, I'm very confident knowing, we were talking to Sani Angara, head of finance. No? They have been very, very supportive of the University of the Philippines. Simply because we explained to them what we wanted to do. We want to be a very important part in nation building. And we're talking about very specific projects, no? All over the country. So I'm quite confident that we can still maintain this momentum that we have achieved.
Thank you. So, yeah. So maybe 2 more questions from the media before we formally close this event.
Hello, good morning. Jaira Mondes from BTV Davao. Hello. So, attorney, what will happen po for UP Mindanao kung mag-continue ni mag-diminish ang mga student enrollees? And how will the expansion of degree programs help in the road of 5K na targets na enrollees po? Kahit kung para sa private do na mga institutions, attorney, kay mag-close ilang mga programs kung wala na yung mag-enroll ng mga students. So, kanisa, in our cases po, sa UP Mindanao, unsay mahitabo di ay kung padayon na mag-decrease ang atong student enrollment?
Sa UP in general is not experiencing a decrease. We are coping with demand, no? We're coping with demand. And demand for UP education is so strong. Usahay gusto mo i-cover lahat, but our mandate is not to provide education sa lahat ng ano, because there are 300 state and local university colleges and 2,000 more private institutions of higher learning in the country. You're not supposed to cover. We were not mandated to cover all. Otherwise, ang mandate natin is to lead. Now, I'm not quite sure if what is the intent of your question, but these programs that we're intending are what we feel, based on the consultations, are needed by Mindanao. No-brainer naman siguro pag we say we need medicine. 1 per 40,680 in Davao alone, medyo it's quite clear na in demand ito. Even if there are other schools are producing as well, and we welcome those other programs, no? Other schools who sa amo sa Caraga, the Caraga State University kaka-approve lang ng College of Medicine. I think you said na-approve na rin, no? So we are adding to it. But remember this, no? Hindi naman sa pagmamayabag, sorry, no? But we're talking about setting up a PGH here, PGH level hospital in cooperation with the Davao City. And we're talking about bringing in the UP College of Medicine brand, which we feel can contribute a lot in medical education in our region here in Davao and also the rest of Mindanao.
Follow-up question lang. Update na lang po on the OPCA testing centers in every provinces kung kumusta po ang ato ang plans and ginahimo ka no?
Hopefully, no, we are making a lot of advances already. No? Right now, we have an average of 4 OPCA testing centers per region. But the goal, hopefully by next year, is 1 OPCA testing center per province. No? Even in Batanes. No? Hopefully. And we will try. I was just in Tawi-Tawi. We hope we can have set up one also there in Bungaw. But of course, we are supporting. We have very strong collaboration with the MSU School of Technology and Oceanography in Bungaw now. But we're supporting them now. We have sent experts there on particularly on ICT, digital technology, or particularly online mode of delivering our services, including telehealth ng UP College of Medicine. You know, we will deal with health problems in many areas using our doctors from in Manila and even in the United States. Kasi telehealth medicine na yan eh. That's very modern today. If you remember sa COVID,
ang doktor na to, mag-reseta na siya sa phone mo, but he will talk to you and he will give you. It's an emerging field, and we are very advanced in the country today on telehealth.
Thank you. Okay, I think we can entertain one more question because the President has an engagement at 10 o'clock. So, ma'am.
Okay, good morning. I'm Marcel Dasalia from Radio Pilipinas of the Presidential Broadcast Service. I think ano pong maka-answer nito question ko about mental health? Ayan. Regarding mental health problem po, I know there are students who cannot handle pressure, and we all know sa UP, medyo pressure talaga maging estudyante. So, paano nyo po i-manage yung ganitong klase problema sa mga estudyante? Kasi alam ko reality na ito ngayon. Maraming mga estudyante na gano'n ang kanilang problema, especially pag pressure sila sa kanilang school.
Before I call, I would love to answer this question, but everyone in UP now knows that one of the first things that I stress when I took over is wellness for students. And then I created a plan to really support them. And then nang nakita ng factor ang plan, sabi nila, kami rin, meron rin kami mga mental health issues. So wellness for all na ito. And it is very important, and it is what keeps me awake at night, no? Yung ganun classic pressure from students. And we have introduced a plan including the wellness, peer review, including peer counseling, and even financial support. But the champion for that is our former student regent, who is now the Assistant Vice President for Student Affairs. I will let Shari Olipino answer that in detail.
And good morning to my former colleagues sa Radio Pilipinas. Dati po akong reporter ko doon. Tama po yung sinabi ni President. Actually, I think first month in office, no, he already tasked me to focus on wellness programs para sa ating mga estudyante. Isa sa mga unang ginawa natin is to actually release an AO asking all the CUs to have this Wellness Wednesdays initiative. Gusto kasi natin hindi lang po mga estudyante, no, pero pati yung buong school community, university community ay nag-engage sa wellness program. So naglalaan tayo ng time per week kung saan pwedeng mag-implement ng activities gaya ng yoga, mindfulness, Zumba man yan, yung ating CUs. But more importantly, we actually held the first multi-sectoral UP Mental Health and Wellbeing Conference last October 2023. Again, hindi lang po ito dinaluhan ng mga estudyante. Kasama rin po natin ang faculty and admin staff na nag-craft, nagbigay ng recommendations kung ano-ano bang mga policies yung pwede i-implement at a system level when it comes to addressing the mental health issues. At isa po sa mga lumabas doon sa gawin ng mga estudyante ay yung pagkakaroon ng mas mataas na pondo para sa student wellness subsidy. So this was first implemented last 2021. It had an initial budget po of 1.65 million pesos for 220 grantees. Now, bigger and better po siya kasi we are now targeting 440 students at yung UP administration ay nag-allocate ng 3.3 million budget this time around. So ganun po tayo committed na agapayan talaga yung mga estudyante para i-address yung kanilang MH issues. On top of that, tuloy-tuloy po yung wellness initiatives. Meron tayo ngayong libreng music lessons para sa lahat ng estudyante natin. We also have a peer support mental health training program for our students. No? Ito po ay kasabay nung pag complement sa kakulangan ng guidance counselors. So, trinay natin yung mga kapwa natin estudyante para makahelp sila. Halimbawa, yung ating, yung kanilang mga kaklase ay magsabi na they are experiencing mental health issues. So, for that program, 84 students registered system-wide to participate in the program with an astounding 79% who actively engaged in the training sessions. So we are all doing this kasi nga po, tumataas talaga yung rates ng depression and unfortunately suicides po sa hanay ng mga estudyante. But of course, we are not ending yung initiatives sa mga programang ito. We are welcoming actually suggestions pa po from the students and from the entire school community sa kung ano-anong mga activities pa yung gusto nilang i-implement. So yun lang po. Thank you.
Yung wellness is not just UPI, it's a global trend among kabataan. So we're just responding for that. Tsaka, ang mahal ng psychologist, psychiatrists yun, from 2,000 to 4,000 an hour. I'm even advising young kids, they take up psychology, psychiatry, yung pala yung profession of the future, no? Mas palang ipagkikitain sa abogado yan. No, pero, but we cannot afford that. Is why we carried out that peer counseling. Because the best counselors talaga is your friend. Diba? Before, wala naman tayo gano'n, no? Pero right now, the best chance, and we have really very good volunteers. Excited sila. Ay, yung music, sana marating sa Mindanao, no? Guitar, voice. Merong online. We're using technology online kasi we have to have activities. And one of the best things happening right now is UP alumni, especially those who can afford to pool resources. And they would beautify one area on campus, make it as peaceful sanctuary. So hopefully we will be doing it now as well, encouraging yung mga spaces, mga safe spaces around where you can just relax and do yoga, mindfulness, or just have a alone time with yourself. So, yun lang.
Okay, thank you, President and Chancellor Laia Morao. So, I think it's now time to formally close our press conference. We'd like to thank our friends from the media for coming over, for joining us early for this press conference. So, daghang salamat sa pagtambong. Shukran. Thank you.